So first up, this scene looks far too cheery. We need to set the proper mood, which I imagine is much darker. So let's build up our own stormy nighttime sky using a few different layers of clouds. I'll be sure to leave that brighter towards the bottom, towards the horizon, but make it really dark towards the top, so the poster draws our eyes down towards Luca. Now blue, well, that's not a very scary color. But green, well, that's a color that'll make you shed that dead outer layer of skin of yours. Basically, I want this entire atmosphere to feel like one big Mike Wazowski fever dream, which means getting rid of this crystal clear Aquafina pond and replacing it with the type of water you'd see out back behind Mr. Burns' factory, where they dump pretty much everything that isn't supposed to be dumped. That'll turn everything under the water green, but the blue on his fins will probably still shine through a little bit, get some extra contrast on here, because what I really want is for all the lighting in the scene to kind of be focused straight down on Luca, almost like there's a spotlight shining down on him from above, making all this water around him super bright, but leaving behind a bit of a shadow right underneath him where he's blocking that light. Now that little light isn't going to spread across the entire ocean, so basically everything else on the top here will be dark, including these islands in the background, which will basically just become silhouettes. And Luca's skin is looking way too healthy for somebody that's slowly turning into a monster, so a nice green overcast will do him wonders. So a huge part of these types of posters, especially when there's tons of dark elements, is finding ways to build up different layers of contrast. For example, let's make a super clear delineation between the ocean and the sky with this ominous green glow across the horizon. We could even carry that up behind the islands so they stand out more. In fact, I think a nice subtle rim light would do wonders for these, giving them that extra hard edge you'd expect from stone buildings, as well as from stone. Then a little mist around here will help hide the scene between the rocks and the water and just make everything feel that much more creepy. And after darkening it up, I'll add a little extra to that to make the transition nice and smooth. Now coming back down here, let's add in a tiny white streak that helps separate the top of the water from everything that's below it. Maybe toss in some smoky texture into the water, which will look like a bunch of grimy sludge just floating around. Aided, of course, by tiny floating particulates swirling around the midst. Now let's get our boy Luca here glowing like the Flying Dutchman. And to make sure it doesn't look like he's enjoying himself too much, I'm going to erase his pupil so it gives him that kind of mindless, deranged look. Like he's no longer himself and he's not in control anymore. And for a few finishing touches, let's darken up the logo so it doesn't look so happy and cheerful. And then everything under the water here is going to get a nice blur to it that's going to get more intense the deeper you go down. So with that, we've got a brand new story about a young lad who fell into an ocean that's either cursed or perhaps just had too much expired Mountain Dew tossed in it, who now has sadly lost his human form and become a scaly-finned monster that's sure to ravage the local town.